What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I'm out at CJM Stables, and my sisters are going on a horseback riding out in Kauai. Really beautiful out here. See the horses behind me? Pretty nice. We're on the south side of the island, and this is the drier side of the island. So usually we're on the north shore, north side of the island. It's a lot more, there's a lot more greenery out there. Out here it's drier, almost like a desert. I won't say a desert, but it's pretty dry out here if you look at the ground and everything else. So what I want to talk about today, just do a little bit of walking and talking, and posted a video yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. All the days are starting to seem the same. It's like the time is really flying here. But I posted a video and I was talking about retiring at 62. And today I just want to tell you guys my story, how I retired, when I retired. I've talked about this a little bit before, but in that video, because I was talking about the difference between retiring at 62 compared to retiring at 67, or really realistically, I was answering a question. Should you retire or if you retire at 62, can you still get the full retirement at 67? And the answer to that question is no. Now, I went off and I talked a little bit more about some of the other benefits of retiring early and the pros and cons and all that. Now, by no means am I telling you guys that you should retire early. This is not advice. All I'm doing is letting you, first off, I was answering a question, and then I'm just letting you guys know this is what's available. These are the options that you have. And in my situation, because I wasn't collecting Social Security, because I was going to be getting a pension, it made sense for me to retire as soon as I possibly could. And so my situation, that retirement age was 50. So at 50, I was able to retire and get about 70% of my salary, okay? And so that's why I chose to do it, because I knew that I already had that other 30%. I had that in investments. I had a 457 plan, as well as I had some other investments that was good enough to put me in a good situation now. Plus, I wanted to continue working. So I wasn't just going to stop working and not do anything, just retire and go travel the world without working. So I always had in my mind that I'm going to be doing either a side hustle, I'm going to be doing some other stuff. I'm not just going to retire and not do anything. And so that was my plan. Now, for most people, when you're looking at retirement, you have to weigh those pros and cons. And sometimes it's financial and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a situation where you have to take care of your family. Family's getting older. They're not healthy or what have you, so you make that decision for that reason. Now, this is a personal decision. We're all going to have to come to this point. Hopefully, not everyone. Some people will just work until they're no longer here. But some people will actually make that decision to retire, and when they get to that point, they're going to have to look at the numbers and figure out exactly what makes sense. Having a financial advisor is always recommended. At least talk to someone so they can kind of give you an idea of how much money you should already have saved up to make it work. But it's still going to be a personal decision. So for me, I chose 50. And now that's giving me an opportunity to go out and do things that I've always wanted to do. And so that's why I retired when I did. Now, another thing to think about when it comes to retirement is the fact that when you do retire, there are certain things that you're not going to be spending money on anymore. And I've talked a little bit about this in the past. For me, it was interesting because I didn't even really think too much about it as far as the things that I was spending money on. And there are a lot of things that I was spending money on before that I'm not spending money on anymore. And so that's good. So when it comes to just the cost of eating out, I was paying so much money to eat out. And I was doing that a lot when I was working because I didn't have the time. And then when it comes to, and I talked about this too, reliable vehicle, all that kind of stuff. Okay, I don't want to keep going over the same things that I've talked about already, but there are different expenses that you will not have when you retire. I think gas is probably the one that is the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to saving money. I save a lot of money on gas now because I don't have to drive to work every day. And so I'm saving a lot of money when it comes to that. So that was my situation. Now, what I could have done, the other option that I had when it came to work, is I could have continued to work. I worked 21 years and then I was able to retire. At 50, you're automatically able to retire. It doesn't matter how many years you had in. And so I could have worked an extra 10 years, gotten 30 years in, and when you get to 30 years in, you'll get 90% of your salary for the rest of your life. Okay, I'm getting about 70% for the rest of my life. And so I could have worked that extra 10 years. For me, the personal decision that I made was it's not going to change much for me. I would much rather retire at 50, spend that 10 years doing things that I want to do. And I'm not saying 60 is old, but 50 is younger. Just say it like that. You can do more at 50. In most situations, you can do more at 50 than you can at 60. Okay, just the limitations that you'll have because you're getting older. And so now I can spend that 10 years doing all the things that I want to do. Okay, now 90%, that means that I'm taking, if you want to look at it, 20% cut. And so now I'm in a situation where I know that I can make up for that 20%, and so I'm okay. I have the investments in place to make that happen. And so it was a no-brainer for me. I've always thought once I get to around 50, I'm going to be looking to retire. I had no plans of working until I was 60, or working 30 years just to get that 90%. Now I'm in California. California, we no longer have this retirement, but back when I was working, we had the retirement. It's called safety retirement for law enforcement, fire. They will allow you to retire, and they call it 3% at 50. So 3% at 50, and what it comes out to, the calculations, is about 70% for me in my case. So that's what I did. That's why I made that choice, and just wanted to share that story with you guys so maybe you get a better understanding of where I'm coming from when it comes to retiring and retiring early. I'm a big proponent of that, if it's possible for you to do, okay? Like I said, this is not retirement advice, but I'm a big proponent of, if you can get out, have all that free time, and retire young or younger, I think it's a good decision to do. But once again, it's up to you. You have to look at your finances. You have to look at your whole situation. And also, I'm single. I don't have kids. I'm not married. And so I can do what I want, when I want. Now, that might not be everyone's situation. You might have people who, even if they were, I mean, some people want to continue to work because they don't want to have to deal with the stuff that's going on at the house, right? So you might be in that situation and say, you know what, financially it makes sense, and all these other reasons it makes sense, but I kind of want to, continue working because it's something I enjoy doing. And that's another situation you have to look at too. If you enjoy doing it, then continue to work. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. It is very, very windy. I'm sure you guys probably hear the wind noise, but I want to show you something right before I leave. So we're right by, I mean, like I said, it's real dry out here. but if you look over, you can see the ocean from here. And so they're going to be going on this ride, and the ocean is just right out there. And so part of their trip will be along the water. So it should be pretty nice for them. I'm not getting on a horse. I'm not doing that. But anyway, subscribe, like the video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.